here on First Things First. We're going viral. Check out this rec league basketball player people are calling the real Uncle Drew. CC, here's my question to you. Would you rather have this guy or Nick on your rec league team?
Oh, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, go ahead, Chris Carter.
I mean, I'm with Guy. I'm working on skills and everything. I hope I can still play basketball when I get that age. But check out the ending here. I like the tools between the legs, alternating hands, no dominant. Watch him. Watch what he does right here. Kiss the ball.
But why does he
now,
have to
how
do the
nasty is
water
that? I mean, look at all it. You know what kind of stuff is on the ground for these gym shoes coming in these gyms? Now, I'm with you, Uncle Drew. Knock off Uncle Drew. But don't put your lips on it, people.
Why can't you just put that thing down?
The water bottle? Come on,
He's rotating hands to dribble.
Yeah.
So he can dribble in both hands to make it so he doesn't have a non-dominant hand. He's probably right-handed.
Right, but he has to hold something to do
Yeah,
it?
a little weight. You should know a little resistance.
I mean, you don't
weight
have no
training.
video or something like that?
Come on, Jenna.
Oh.
And by the way, can we get back to the premise of the question? I'm not allowed on this show to talk about my athletic career because I'm
Nick,
sitting next
one
to
time you
one of the
tried to do a
greatest athletes
handstand and you literally almost concussed
Listen,
yourself.
I apologize.
You have no
Listen, I'm not a
shoulder
gymnast,
strength.
Jenna Wolf, and I apologize. I have my shoulder reconstructed.
That's why he doesn't want you on the
Let's
team.
stop disrespecting my hoops career. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to stand for it anymore.
You definitely got a better hoops career than Jenna. Definitely.
Absolutely, man.
Better?
I'm done.
Hoops career? Yeah.
I played varsity basketball.
Yeah, so did he.
First of all, that's a lie.
He was captain.
I played varsity
Check the record.
Tomorrow
Nick
I will
ruined his basketball
bring
career.
in
Don't-
my high school varsity picture.
Mm-hmm.
Time for some stories to start your morning. Mom, get my yearbook. Let's go. Stories to start your morning. LeBron James put up 26 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in his 78th game this season. With 4 games remaining, the King looks like he might play all 82 games for the first time in his career. He claims this was never a part of his plan this season. Nick, any worry about LeBron's stamina for the postseason if he literally takes no days off this year?
Man, I hate to sound like a broken record on this. Like, I'd be worried about any other player in the league. I'm not worried about LeBron on this one. I don't think this is a good idea, by the way. I think this is LeBron setting I think he was upset that last year he got criticized for resting when the league had been resting for the better part of a decade, and it was never an issue. And then he had to answer for it. So he's trying to prove a point this year, but I don't think it's ideal. I think it's ideal that he plays 72 to 76 games, but he's clearly going to play all 82.
Right. I think it is a number of different things. Number one, I think it's also Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing a lot of games. Now, they weren't resting.
Yep.
They were 1 and 2 in the MVP. Also, I think from the beginning of the season, Kyrie said he didn't want to play in Cleveland. LeBron said, I want to play. I'm going to make myself available more so my teammates, they have the best chance to win. And it's kind of snowballed once they got into the season with the trades, with the injuries,
Correct.
with the lack of them ability to depend on it. LeBron's like, listen, there might be a whole bunch of problems elsewhere, but I'm in the type of shape, didn't want to, but let me just show you what I can do. I believe he's also trying to send a message to get on the corner with the GOAT, Michael Jordan. Playing 82 games, year 15, that does send that message.
Sticking with hoops, Russell Westbrook ripped down 16 rebounds in last night's loss to the Warriors. He needs 41 boards in the Thunder's final 3 games. So 41 in 3 games to average a triple-double this season. You got all that, Nick?
Yeah.
He would be the first player in history to average a triple-double twice. Also doing so last year. Nick, do you think you can pull it off? And CC, talk me through your...
Listen.
Well, the reason why I'm laughing is because last night, Nick and I on the phone, like, we were talking about this subject. Like, can you believe this? Like, Russ, people haven't even talked about it. But he's in position to be able to...
average a triple-double again. And this is going to, I hope he does average triple-double. I love Russ. I think it'd be a great accomplishment for him. But I also hope he averages triple-double so it will make all of the people that voted for him for MVP last year, that right now, this moment, probably don't have him on their ballot, rethink about what exactly they were doing last year. I felt last season LeBron should have been the MVP. A lot of people thought it should have been James Harden. Russ ran away with it. Why? Triple-double, triple-double, triple-double. He's either going to average another one this year or come 0.02 rebounds short of it. Right, within a breath of it. And they're going to have the same record as they did last year, most likely. The identical record as last year. So what was it about last year that made him the MVP, that made us change the standard? For 35 years, you better win at least 50 games. You better be on one of the 3 best teams in the league. We changed all of that because he averaged triple-double. Now he's going to do it again, potentially, and not be top 4 MVP?
Well, last year he did it with less talent around him. So I think this year is more impressive. When you add Carmelo Anthony, Hall of Famer, Paul George, one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and you still average a triple-double, to me that's more impressive.
Oh, wow.
Even though it hasn't equated to wins for OKC, but him even compromising his game, but to still be able to get those numbers, I believe is the most impressive feat of his career.
Wow. Okay.
All right, sticking with hoops now. Potential Rookie of the Year Ben Simmons led the 76ers to a win last night. That's 11 straight for Philly. Last night, Dr. J complimented Simmons, saying, quote, he's a once-in-a-lifetime player. Nick, you agree with Dr. J's comments on Ben Simmons?
I agree with the gist of them, but not the literal. No, of course he's not once-in-a-lifetime player. You said it earlier. Like, Ben Simmons is trying to be LeBron James. Like,
yes.
His best-case scenario is that he becomes 90% of LeBron. That's his absolute ceiling. So that's in his lifetime. They're playing in the same league. But this is what I do think about Ben Simmons. If he develops a jump shot, he, Giannis, and Embiid, by the way, will be battling to be the best player in the league over the next decade. He has that type of upper-level talent that if he develops a jump shot, every other phase of his game is a B+ or better already. So I understand Dr. J's point, even if it's a little hyperbolic.
It's definitely hyperbolic. If he was that kind of player, why couldn't he get LSU into the NCAA tournament?
Okay.
No, he's talking about once in a lifetime.
Sure.
Does he know how long?
Why can't he have a jump shot? It's basketball.
Thank you. And next season, there's no guarantee he'll be shooting with the same hand he was shooting with this year. That's not a once-in-a-lifetime talent, Jenna. It's a developing talent that is rare, but we've seen better versions of him.
To the NFL now, Deshaun Watson's rookie season was cut short after 6 starts when he tore his ACL in practice. His head coach, Bill O'Brien, not concerned about the quarterback bouncing back, saying, quote, he seems to have an instinct for being able to stay out of harm's way. Is there such a thing, CC, as injury-avoiding instincts?
No, not such a thing. He just made some stuff up. Reporter asked him a question. He was on a good track. But we're listening to every word. There ain't no instincts going to stop you from getting hurt. Mike, when it's time to get hurt, well, wouldn't the instincts have kicked in practice? And he would have avoided the injury. The second one to his knee. The first time when he got hurt in college, wouldn't he have avoided? Wouldn't the instincts would have kicked in there? So, Coach, yeah, I do understand. He is very, very athletic. He does get out of trouble. But this injury that he had was a non-contact injury.
I don't think there is what Bill O'Brien describes, but I do think the opposite exists. Meaning guys that seem to, the way they play leads to injury.
Yes.
And I don't think Deshaun Watson's that player. I mean, famously, RG3, after having all the injuries, finally getting another shot in Cleveland, what does he do? He's running by the sideline, can easily go out of bounds, ducks back inside, and gets, I think it was his shoulder knocked out. Like, some guys run into trouble. We saw in the Super Bowl, Brandon Cooks, by the way. Cece, you said, where'd you think everybody went? When he caught the ball, stopped, turned around. Like, some guys' playing style leads to injury.
When he woke up, he was in L.A. on the Rams.
So some guys' playing style leads to injury. I don't think Deshaun has that, but no, I don't think he has some supernatural ability to avoid injury either.
All right, finally, let's look ahead to the Masters. Tiger Woods is still trying to find his swing after having spinal fusion surgery. Woods hopes this weekend at Augusta is when he returns to form. Tiger said about his swing, quote, for some reason, it is back. All right, CC, what does Tiger need to do to win this weekend at Augusta?
Well, the part that Tiger talks about that's back, that he's kind of astonished, he even used the word miracle, is that his overall swing speed, it matches the speed that he had in his prime, in his mid-20s, and even faster than most of his career. That part has been astonishing to him. The other part is he's free of pain. So he can practice as much as he wants to. He can also get back to, Jenna, the thing you deem to be very important, working out with his fitness. Yesterday he talked about his overall core strength. Man, Tiger Woods is back. I mean, it has been a miracle. No PGA Tour player has ever played with a fused lower back. So we're seeing something that we've never seen before. Now, before all the back surgery, before the neck surgery, before the Achilles, Tiger Woods is the greatest athlete that's ever played on the PGA Tour. Like, he is also, his dad, at one point, they asked him, if Tiger wasn't a golfer, what would he have done? He said he'd been the starting point guard for UCLA. He would have been an accomplished basketball player. Tiger loves to be able to play basketball. So Tiger is back. The swing speed is back. He's able to practice without pain. He's changed his swing. He's killed all the coaches, all the people that were coaching him before. He's gone back to the basics of what his dad taught him and filling his swing. So I do believe Tiger Woods is back. And we've been talking about it for the last month. I thought he would win in the next 6 to 8 weeks. And I still believe that he will do that. But those are reasons why people can be optimistic about his comeback.
And for him to win, listen, one thing to be very basic about, there's a few things he's got to do. He's got to keep putting the way he's been. 59 out of 59 putts in his last tournament inside of 10 feet. As CC mentioned, a robot couldn't do that. There'd be a gust of wind. There'd be something. So he's been top 3 on the PGA Tour, around the green and on the green. Got to keep that up. One thing he hasn't yet been able to do on this comeback, the Eagles. We saw yesterday in his practice round. What do you have? 2 Eagles?
2 Eagles on 13 and 15, the back 9 at Augusta.
So, all right. So, listen, what do we know about the Masters? Barring the odd of the year in 2007 when Zach Johnson won at 1 over, usually it takes around 10 under to win this thing. Tiger's winning scores have been 12 under, 12 under, 6 under, and 18 under. Obviously, the record that Jordan Spieth tied recently. But so you got to be shooting 65 to 69 repeatedly over every day of this tournament. It's hard to do that without scoring on the par 5s. We saw him score on the par 5s in his last tournament. We have not yet seen him get an eagle. That's all going to be predicated on his driving accuracy to a degree. That's where he has to improve at least slightly.
I know you both think he can win, but what would realistically be considered successful? Where would you like to see him finish? In the top what?
If he finished in the top 5, that would be realistic for me. But Tiger's like, if I'm in the top 5, if I'm within 5 shots on the back 9 on Sunday, he believes that he can win. But to kind of really answer your question, I talked about all the reasons why you should take him serious, but what he really has to do on Augusta National, if you know the golf course, if you know the tournament, experience on the golf course becomes your friend. Players that have played it and have that experience, they are able to capitalize on that local knowledge. But from an aesthetic standpoint, what will you be looking at? It's easy to say, well, he needs to drive the ball. Yeah, Augusta is wide open fairways, but 8 of the 18 holes, they go from right to left. So they are a dog leg left. They are holes 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, and 17. Tiger has not been able to hit the ball with his driver in 3-wood right to left. He's been hitting it left to right. So now, on those 8 holes, they're scoring holes, and also there's tremendous mounding at Augusta National, undulation that you can't see, but on those driving holes that you can get the ball to bounce off those hills and carry them forward, you'll see drives 370, 380 because of the way it's designed. Tiger has taken advantage of it through the years, so that's when he can hit his driver left to right and right to left. Since his comeback, he's only been able to hit it left to right. So on those 8 holes, he has to, and that's why he changed the shaft in his driver, changed the shaft in his 3-wood, went to a lighter shaft, a longer one. So on those holes, watch Tiger Woods if he's able to score and be able to draw the ball from right to left.
A damn shame that you don't know anything about golf. A damn shame.
Yeah.
Hey, moving on to Odell Beckham. He hasn't been traded yet, but that hasn't stopped the chatter of where he might end up. The Rams just picked up receiver Brandon Cooks from the Patriots, so we know now he's more than likely not going to the Rams. But 30 teams still remain as possible trade partners for the Giants. Adam Schefter is reporting the possibility of Odell getting traded is, quote, very real, absolutely real. Go back to UCC. Who are realistic trade partners for Odell Beckham Jr.?
It becomes hard because you have to think about which team, because if you can't think about trading Odell without the price tag that will come with it, and that will be either a 3-year around 58 to 60 million up to a 5-year, which 100 million.
90 to 100 million.
Yes, and plenty of it guaranteed. So you have to think, where can a player that's going to be able to demand that type of contract, where could he land? And I'm racking my brain, because I really would like to be realistic. Adam Schefter, if he says it, okay, if he says it's going to rain, it's probably going to be some sprinkles. Now, it might not be thunderstorms, but have an umbrella when you go outside. I know that from working with him. His sources are real. I'm going to say the Jacksonville Jaguars. And this is the reason why. They got a guy running their football operation in Tom Coughlin. Didn't he draft him?
Yeah.
Didn't Tom kind of get criticized for potentially maybe not managing the right way?
Letting him kind of just be him.
Now, they're playing Blake Bortles a reasonable contract, but with the personalities they have on that team, most of them being on defense, Odell Beckham in Jacksonville, if Jacksonville want to take a stronghold and send a message to New England, man, add OBJ to that mix. You'd be shocked at how good Blake Bortles would get. Like, based on Nick, the way he's not going to play worse than Eli Manning's been playing. You know, so that, I believe, is a realistic place based on Tom Coughlin. I'm sure he would love to be able to land an OBJ. And the Jacksonville fans, now, they would have realistic expectations for a Super Bowl for the next 5 years.
All right, so there are some teams from as far as teams that have the trade capital. The Colts, they got those extra picks from trading with the Jets. They're also 6th pick of the draft, and they have cap space. The Colts are interesting. The Packers don't have a surplus of picks. They don't have a surplus of cap space, but man, oh man, it'd be fun to watch him with Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's one that jumps out to me. 49ers, if they're trying to supercharge this thing. Now, they just gave Jimmy G all that money, but they do have the 9th pick of the draft. They have some draft capital.
And they need a wide receiver.
They need a wide receiver badly. But I'm gonna go to a team that I understand, culture-wise, cap-wise, all these reasons why people are going to say it's unlikely. I just want to know what it would look like if it happened. Because there's a team that all of a sudden's got a couple first-round picks. A team that all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but is a Super Bowl contender every year. That team's the New England Patriots. And it's a team that, by the way, has at least one history of trading for a superstar wide receiver and lighting the damn world on fire when they traded for Randy Moss. Now, they didn't give up 2 firsts for Randy. They gave up, I think, a third, a potential third for Randy. Forget whether or not you think it's likely. What would it look like? When you talk about Odell's releases, when you talk about how smart of a football player he is, and you think about the offense they run in New England, what would Odell Beckham look like for a team that right now all of a sudden needs a #1 receiver in New England?
As Jenna would say, it'd be Christmas on their face. I mean, with Josh McDaniels, I'm doing the offense he designs, opposite of Gronk. Like, we're still keeping Gronk there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, 2007 was when they had that magical season, right? It would be like 2007, but they would be able to throw the ball deep. They didn't have a great short passing attack in 2007 because Randy Moss is not the short and intermediate receiver, and he is not the route runner, and he is not the run after the catch that OBJ is. Now, Randy Moss is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But in those intermediate areas, in that release off the line of scrimmage, OBJ is a better football player, and they would maximize that. Like in those those quick throwing that Tom Brady likes to do, get the ball out of his hand so guys can run with it. Now, Tom Brady is not throwing to the best athletes in the world. No. Now, OBJ is one of the best athletes in the world. If you marry those two up, you talk about success, like Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh. You would see him getting the ball 8 to 10 times a game and throwing it sideways to him, quick slants to him, and also taking advantage of him down the field.
Can you believe we are talking about trading Odell Beckham Jr.? If I told you last season, when he was taking the field, the first game before he hurt his ankle, whatever it was, you know, next year they're going to think about trading this guy. You'd think we were all crazy. It boggles my mind that this is a guy who brought all of this on himself. The Giants never wanted to trade him. He might not still be traded, but you were talking about a report from Adam Schefter. It's a shame to me. It really is. This guy fits perfectly in New York. He's got the personality for it. He's got the spirit for it. And listen to me. I know what you're going to say.
You have no idea.
All the other antics that does not factor into personality. This guy could be a tremendous force in New York City.
How can you say he's got the personality for New York when you're of the belief it's his personality that is one of the reasons he could be driven out of New York?
Absolutely not. It's not his personality that's driving him out of New York.
It's not just the video. It's not just the video.
Right. Getting on all fours in the end zone does not factor into personality. That's not your personality. Those are stupid antics you do. That goes against what your personality could be. You could have a larger than life.
It could be
super
immature.
Happy. It could be immature.
Yeah, we got a lot of those out there though.
We do.
So that wouldn't exclude you from playing for a team or playing in a certain city.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I just reject the idea that I don't think it's fair to say Odell's perfect in New York if only he would change to become perfect for New York. Odell is Odell. Maybe it's going to end up getting him out of New York. Maybe he's going to end up regretting how he's acted the last few years, or maybe he's going to go back with the Giants or go to Jacksonville or go somewhere else and continue to be one of the 2 best in the world at what he does. But I don't, you at some point, and I've gotten in arguments with Cece about this. I don't want to say an argument, but a discussion with our main boss, Mr. Shanks, about this.
You like to argue.
No, it's not that you sometimes when you take the package, you get everything that goes with it. You get the yellow hair, you get the amazing catches, you get a couple controversies a year, and you got to decide whether or not you want it. Because let me tell you this, whoever trades for Odell Beckham Jr.
You got to decide you want the videos, and you got to decide you want the potential penalties, and you got to decide you want a potential suspension.
Well, I don't think the player exists without it. Like, I don't think you tell me.
There are players, there are wide receivers out there that exist without it.
Of course there are, but does he exist? My point is this: you think if he trades, he's changing. You think if he resigns, he's changing.
No, but I think he regrets doing all those things if he gets traded.
Okay, maybe so.
Listen, we're naive to think that people won't grow. Someone in their mid-20s, a professional athlete, like he's not going to grow. He is going to grow. He will evolve just like we have evolved.
Well, I will just say this. If Eric Shanks sat me down last year and said, please don't do X, Y, and Z, there's a good chance, if not a perfect one, I wouldn't come back and do X, Y, Z. If he's not ready to evolve now.
Not a 25-year-old superstar athlete, Jenna.
I am actually a 25-year-old superstar athlete, which is what you don't realize.
In your head.
Coming up.
In your head, you are.
In the head. Will LeBron cakewalk to the finals for the 8th straight season? What is it, Steve?
That's like your arms. Your arms will say, I can run a 4.6, 4.6, 4.6.
What do his legs say?
His legs are saying 5.3, 5.